Hello, Dr. Wealth, sharing with you a presentation on your word for the world, weaving your legacy intention into your life story today. And I'm going to take this title and I'm actually going to work backwards through it and share with you some ideas around weaving and legacy intention and story, and we'll end up back at your word for the world. Each one of us has a unique story, and that story is played out as you are the actor, or you might be the director at times, you may be the producer, you're the combination of all of those. You might be actually writing your story from an autobiography perspective. You might be using the pencils as ways in which to do the design of great resources that you instruct from. You might play your life story out on the internet because of all the places where you can write through blogs and Twitter tweets and Facebook posts. This world of the internet opens up for you as you share your life story. And then there are those who write into their journals and keep those reflective thoughts for themselves, but they know that they're living their life story. And we, as the world, actually interact with each of you as you are living your life story. And what you're doing is you're weaving these different threads together. It's like sort of going into these cars, as you see here, you're twisting and turning as you move from side to side so as to avoid the obstructions. And your life story is weaving in and out. Sometimes it's working for you, sometimes it's not working for you. You have your ups, you have your downs. That's all part of this life story unfolding for you. There's also this weaving of the fabric. So you might be bringing together the fabric of your relationships with your family and your friends and your colleagues, weaving that together as a story. And then there's the fishing net kind of idea. If you think about weaving the story of work out into the internet, and you are creating opportunities for people to connect with you. They fall into your net and you capture them and bring them into the work that you do. So really what weaving is about is collecting together ideas and actions, and you're merging them into a bigger thematic story. A story that I'm working with now is I'm Dr. Wealth. That is my branded story for my business. And so, in living your life, you are actually living your legacy intention. And it's a very important element of your life. It's a little bit between, or the gray area between the goals that you set for yourself and your life purpose. I sort of look at legacy intention as being this bridge. And if you look at the word intention itself, intention is the formless universal energy within which infinite possibilities unfold, into which you apply your co-creative mindset. So you're doing it for yourself and you're doing it with others. This formless universal energy that you are interacting with is a little bit like what Wallace Wattles shared through The Science of Getting Rich. And it was in the first paragraph. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. So you tap into that, you create into that, you co-create from that. You're always moving in and out of this universal energy. And this intention is about opening your heart's eye. Isn't that a great image when you think about it? Is how does your heart see what's going on? How is your heart interpreting the space that's in front of you and the interactions that you're having with people, tapping into that intention, setting intentions for yourself? And an intention is framed in words and feelings and images and songs. So there's some important words to you. There are feelings that you associate with joy and happiness. And then there's the images that you bring to mind at times in your life. And I always remember these images of this overturned raft. I worked as a whitewater rafting guide for 22 summers, and I remember turning the raft over and laying on top of the bottom of the raft and looking up into the sky. And that image has always stayed with me as how beautiful that was, even with the mosquitoes biting. And then there's songs that bring out those feelings for you. They bring back memories, or they give you the inspiration to move forward. These songs, you're tapping into this universal energy, and you're using words and feelings and images and songs to bring that intention to life for you. And when you do that, you're working with this thing called legacy. Now, legacy is a really interesting word here and connected to legacy intention. Let me just share with you a little bit about legacy. From a law perspective, legacy is a gift given by will, especially like money or personal property, something that's handed down or received from an ancestor. So passing down in the inheritance, maybe it's a brooch, maybe it's some money, it may be a house, it might be a car, it might be a book, any number of things that are then shared with you through this law interpretation called a will. There's also legacy about life, such as a tradition that exists as a result of something that happened in the past. And I think of the turkey dinner. There was a story shared with me. A gentleman was sitting down for dinner with a family, and he noticed that the drumsticks weren't on the turkey. They were laying beside. So he turned to the hostess and said, "Why are the turkey legs there already?" And she said, "I'm just how I do it," and turned to her mother and said, "Why are the turkey legs there and the turkey drumsticks?" And she said, "Well, that's how I learned to cook the turkey." And so turned to her mother, and therefore you have the granddaughter, the mother, and the grandmother. And the grandmother sort of looked at everyone and said, "Well, when I first learned to cook turkeys, the ovens weren't big enough, so we had to take the drumsticks off." And the mother said, "I guess that just got passed down to me because that's how I thought it was." And the daughter said, "I thought that's how it was." And I guess this gentleman sort of chuckled, and I remember that story when he shared it, and I said, "Yeah, that's just a tradition that's passed down. Sometimes you don't question it, it's just there." Another life legacy interpretation is something that someone has achieved that continues to exist after they stop working or die. And I'm thinking of the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And I just mentioned him simply because he passed recently. There's also the naming of a building that may be part of a university or a research center. It could be part of a wing of a hospital. There is this naming of the building.